What's going on, everyone? It's my back again. This is your match reaction to Arsenal 4, Everton 0 at the Emirates last night. I decided not to do the match reaction last night because I was livid. And I weren't livid because of the result. I weren't livid even necessarily because of the performance. I was livid because of some basics, some real issues that cost us silly goals. I also weren't happy with the starting the lineup. I think that's fair to say. I don't think a lot of people were. I've read some of the comments regarding certain midfielders playing, certain centre-half starting, certain strikers starting. And look, I wanted to give my 50p piece, obviously, but I wanted to do it in a constructive manner. So let's go into the game. Everton started the game relatively well. Early opportunities, a corner. We knew it was always going to be difficult. And there's no sugarcoating that. You were away at Arsenal Football Club, top of the league. Had a fantastic season, playing beautiful football at times last night, if I'm being honest. And they had all the characteristics of a team that's going to be champions. They had a bit of grit, bit of fight, bit of nastiness when they needed it. But they had real quality, going through the middle, was going through the transition. They had Ben White going out wide, being able to, just essentially carry the ball further up the pitch. I thought for the first 40 minutes, I thought Dwight McNeil and Vitaly Mykolenko did a really good job on Saka and Ben White. I thought Odegaard was allowed too much space in the middle of the park, and that was down, in my opinion, to a particular player. Onana and Decore, I thought Decore did all right. I think Onana was slightly off it, and Garner we're going to talk about in a minute. And then in terms of the two centre-halves, well, they weren't winning anything in the air, so I was fine with that. Coleman got caught a couple of times by Martinelli. You expect that, if I'm being honest. But there was a particular ball that would constantly undo Everton, and that was the ball in between the right back or the left back and the centre half. And that ball should be cut out, in my opinion, by either a centre midfielder stopping it or your centre half being more switched on. It didn't happen. The first goal was the absolute epitome of that, because the ball gets played through and Mykolenko doesn't know whether to go left or right because the centre half hasn't come over. Mykolenko is now in no man's land because the ball's been played into Saka. He's tried to step back over to him. Saka's got all the time in the world to turn, lash a shot near post, makes it 1-0. And you sit there and you just think, well, the defending for that is awful. It's actually atrocious. It was absolutely shocking, and it come from nothing because Everton were very much in that game at that point. Really disappointing. The second goal was an absolute disgrace, and this is really difficult for me because I, as an individual, I like Garner. I like Garner a lot. I liked him when he was at Everton the first time, but you can clearly see he's not the player he was. Partly potentially down to the fact that, he's a few years older. But last night he lacked concentration, he lacked a little bit of mobility, and actually he looked fine at the start. But when you see and you notice that all of these players are fundamentally breaking the same line over and over again, it was all game they were getting down that channel, and he wasn't switched on to it. The manager wasn't switched onto it, and I'm not just sitting there digging out Dyche because he's got a massive job on his hands, and I actually feel really sorry for him. He probably didn't appreciate how bad it was until he's now sitting in that chair. Although he's not making it easy for himself, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But all game, we got done by that ball in between the centre half and the fullback. All game. He tried to shore it up in the second half by bringing on Holgate. I've seen Holgate playing centre midfield once, and he looked all right. It was against Manchester United at Old Trafford about 2 years ago, I think it was, under Ferguson. But last night, it didn't solve any problems, and at that point, we was already losing. So that was poor. The second goal was a disgrace, as I said. He fundamentally just stops playing. He looks like he goes to make a pass. Falls to, I think, was it Martinelli? Anyway, it scores. So, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Pickford has got no chance. He's literally stranded. So that makes it 2-0. That kills the game. So that the game is finished by half-time. Half-time, because Everton know we can't score goals. We've scored one in... Is it one in our last 7 away games? It's shocking. And look, I said in the preview, I was negative in the preview. I said, look, I'm not expecting Everton to go into this game against Arsenal to go get 3 points. I weren't even expecting a draw. But I was expecting us to defend better than that. But there you go. The second half, much of the same. Third goal again, really poor. Really, really poor defending. And the fourth goal again. And I sat there last night. I was at the Emirates. I sat there. I watched both goals. I saw, Odegaard celebrating. I saw Martinelli get his fourth, second. And you sit there and you just think, this club has fallen off. So that's the performance. The second half was a joke. It was a training game for Arsenal. It was terrible, to be honest. It was probably one of the most dominating for second halves I've seen in my time as an Everton fan. Literally, there was one chance, and maybe a bit at the end as well. But all in all, let's be honest. Arsenal just controlled that half, apart from a little bit at the end, and there was that one chance that I think Mulpay, or it might have been Damari Gray at that point, slotted at the goalkeeper. The game was null and void. The big 2 games coming up, and I said that, and I also don't think we should lose so much confidence. This Arsenal team can beat anyone, and they can certainly beat an 18th placed Everton side that's very poor. Defensively, they cut us open. Just get it out of the way. You saw last night easy ways of exposing Everton. Hopefully Dyche can learn how to set up the team slightly different so that doesn't happen. So let's turn that into a positive, not a negative. Then we've got Forest this weekend. Now, I'm not saying this is an absolute must-win, but I'm saying it's an absolute must-not lose. If we could get a point, I'd be happy. Get 3 points at home to Brentford, fine, happy with that. If we could get 3 points, stunning, be over the moon. That's exactly what we need. But Forest are unbeaten at home since November, I think. So I think it's a tough ask, but we'll see. Now let's talk about starting 11. More patient start. I don't understand. There is a little bit of criticism here for Dyche, but more patient start. I don't care who you start in front of him, and I made that abundantly clear in my preview. I don't see what anyone is seeing in him. So Dyche has come in. He has got Ellis Sims at his disposal, which I'm not saying he's ready, by the way, but he offers more threat, I would argue, than Mulpay because of his height, his physicality. Mulpay did nothing yesterday. He got one shot off from 20 yards and he almost stumbled that. Poor footballer. 1 goal in 17. And I also I think it was something like 1 in 19 at Brighton. So very average football, very, very poor championship footballer. 10 goals in the championship max. He brings in Michael Keane. Now, I have absolutely no idea why, in any aspect, he thought that was the right move. Michael Keane has been the 5th choice centre-back for me, personally, this season, if not lower. Right, and I'll give you my order. My order is this as follows. Tarkowski, Cody, Mina, Godfrey, Holgate, King. So he's 6th. Now don't get me wrong, that has changed since Cody's not 2nd. Tarkowski needs to have a look at himself as well. So I actually probably put Mina at the top of all of that. He just doesn't stay fit. But either way, Mina starts that game, not Keane. I don't understand. Don't get it. Don't understand. And, there's I sat there and I was like, what are you doing? As soon as I saw the team, I went, what are you doing? I thought Damari Gray would start. if I'm being honest, and be more mobile, be more energetic, play through those lines. So he could look for the same ball that Arsenal were playing, which is picking up that ball through the left, through the fullbacks and the centre halves. He can find that ball because he's got that pace, he's got that skill, he can cut in on his left and his right. Maupay can't do that. It's a waste of time. So Demarai Gray for me is, and I'm not going to say it again actually, to be honest, it is an absolute must start for me against Forest. But so is Ellis Sims. And actually, in my formation, we go 4-4-2. We go 4-4-2 and we have a go. We try and score. Ellis Sims goes up front. Demarai Gray goes up front. Dwight McNeil, who, by the way, in my opinion, last night was massively let down by Dyche and by a lot of the Everton players. I actually thought McNeil did all right. I actually thought his defensive work was fine. I thought his balls in the box were good. I thought his ball carrying was good. I thought he was fine. I thought he did a good job. But he unfortunately went to a restaurant last night where he was the fork. He had a beautiful 10-ounce steak in front of him and he was given a spoon to cut through it. And that's what Maupay was. He was a spoon and he needed a knife. He needed someone who would be direct and aggressive through that channel. Just like when you're cutting up a steak. And he didn't get that. He didn't get any of that. He didn't get any of that support. He was on his own, he was isolated. I thought Iwobi had a poor game. His touch, his trapping was terrible. He's got no pace. He's got absolutely no pace. And it would get to the point where Andros Townsend, as soon as he can walk, would walk into this football team at this point. Just because I know he can deliver a ball, albeit we haven't got a striker who can put it in the net because Calvert-Lewin's injured again. So, yeah, look, massive concerns from that perspective. Massive concerns with the starting 11. Massive concerns with the performance. And look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Everton, as an attacking threat, as we already know, are the worst in the league. They've scored the lowest amount of goals, so there's no other metric. There's no other metric to say Everton are not the worst. They are the worst. Goals in the net against Everton, not too bad. For Everton, shocking. Bottom of the league. No attack. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. It's blunt. It's literally blunt. We've got big issues if we're going to stay in this league. And if I'm being honest, I don't think we are. I don't think we're staying in this league. I think Leeds have got more firepower than us. I think West Ham have clearly got more firepower than us. I think Southampton and Bournemouth have got more firepower than us. Wolves, more firepower. And then you really are stretching up the league then. You're going Forest, more firepower. Palace, more firepower. And then Villa are out of it. So all of these teams in and around us are better than us going forward. And the stats don't lie. Defensively, we hold our own. Going forward, it's going to kill us. It's going to absolutely kill us. And the lack of strikers, the lack of quality, yeah, we're going to go down. And you know, people have said to me, "Oh, Mike, what's your thoughts on going down? You know, is it the opportunity to reset?" Hopefully it's an opportunity to reset. But being realistic, I think we'd be banging trouble financially. I think we'd have real issues. I think you would walk into this 52,000 seat stadium either back in the Premier League because you've just been promoted, or still in the Championship. You've got the burden of the cost of this stadium, which has gone from 500 to 640. You've got a board that don't care about this club, and they pretend that they care about this club, but they don't know what they're doing. You've got investors who are interested, yet nothing seems to be happening. This club, as we know it and we love, and I've said this before, so you know you've heard it before. It's finished. It's finished. It might as well finish. And my point is, it wasn't the performance. It wasn't the scoreline. It's come to a head. Like, it's come to a head. This team is 13 games away from playing in the Championship for the first time in over 70 years. It's unspeakable. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And the reason it's going to happen is because this board were negligent in both windows by signing a striker. Now, people will say, we signed Neil Maupay. You did. You did sign Neil Maupay. But £12 million on Neil Maupay is shocking. And it's especially shocking when you've got players who can do more, like Moise Kean out on loan. I'm not saying I'd want him back. But my point is, we have better players out on loan. We've got an actual ball passer in Andre Gomez on loan. I'm not saying he's a good footballer. I'm not saying he's what we need right now. But he is a player that can find that pass, that channel. And if you had a couple of strikers that could run into it, he could play the ball into that channel. It's a joke. It's a joke. And they're not signing a striker in January. It's appalling. John said it before, you're looking at the free market. Who do you want in that free market? Would Andre Ayew at this point do a better job than Maupay? Probably. I think last night was a real realisation that Everton are truly in a different league to Arsenal, truly. And it's so bad that you look at the fall in grace, you look where we've come from, you look at the 20-year journey. 20 years ago, 2003, 2004, we almost go down, we finished 17th. Wayne Rooney goes to the Euros, we sell him. We finish fourth. It's the beginning of something special. But even that 2003, 2014, that almost got relegated. But no, they didn't really. Moyes come in, did a good job. They had more firepower than this. They had better players than we've got up front now. You'd argue that the teams with Wimbledon 94 and 98, etc., they had better firepower than we have now. You'd even argue that last season, to a degree, we had better firepower. We had people that could hold the ball up. Rondon, I got crucified at the start of the season, and I said Rondon was a better footballer than Maupay. Stand by it. Shout at me if you want, but he was. At least he could hold the ball up and put people in. Maupay can't do anything. His club has gone backwards since the day that Mashiri bought it. And it's been abundantly obvious with the complete lack of pace that's in the side anymore. It's a joke. It is nothing more than a joke. The club is finished. So, in my heart of hearts, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to the equation anymore. I don't know how to solve it, because there's nobody pulling up trees in the under-23s. All of the better assets are out on loan. Ellis Sims has come back and he's not playing. Maupay we've now seen for God knows how many games and he's appalling. Calvert-Lewin's always injured. Damari Gray won't start for some reason. I don't know what the answer is. So, yeah. There you go, people. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the predicament we're in. Get 3 points at Forest. Get 3 points at home to Brentford. Then we give ourselves a chance, don't we? 27 points. But all the teams around us are picking up points. They're all playing to fight for their lives. And they've all got more firepower. And that is what I think will cost Everton Football Club this season. So, guys, look, I'm leaving it there. Sorry to be so negative, but it's difficult to be positive in the current situation. And I suspect, if we did stay up, unless Sean Dyche is given about £150 million to spend, I suspect we're going to be in this sort of relegation, not relegation type team for a long, long time. So, yeah. Guys, look, see you soon. Keep smiling.